right at 6,000 RPM, I'm going 77, 78. So a definite improvement.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the garage. So today what I'm hoping to do is sort of a semi-quantitative test of a component upgrade in the Himalayan. You may remember a little while ago I talked at length about how one of the downsides to this bike is that it is a little bit underpowered, but I also talked about how I upgraded the air filter in the bike. And at least to me, there was a slight perceived improvement in the performance of the bike. So I thought today, rather than have that be a qualitative analysis, to actually go out and do a real test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the old air filter back in and then go and do a highway test, both top speed and acceleration, come back, put the new filter in as well as the new inlet cover that I just got, which is supposed to allow more airflow into the airbox and thus into the engine, and improve performance, and we'll actually see if there is a measurable difference in the performance of the bike. So let's go ahead and do that.
All right, we're coming up on the on-ramp to the highway, so this test is going to be very simple. I'm going to pull over right at the start of the on-ramp, so I'm stopped, and then I will start accelerating down the on-ramp and onto the highway and go a couple miles down the highway and basically turn around. All right, so I'm just about to get on the highway here. I'm going to start at this no parking sign, ironically, and I'm going to accelerate as fast as I can to try and get up to 60 miles an hour, and as soon as I hit 60 miles an hour, I will signal and we'll call it, and then we'll see how fast I can go at 6,000 RPM. So here we go. We're going to start. 3, 2, 1, go. And now we're just going to see how fast we can get it. This is with the stock configuration. Stock air filter, stock intake cover. We've got 72, about 72. Got the throttle completely wide open. Yeah, it's floating around 72. Doesn't seem to be going up much after that. We've got a little bit of a hill here. So we're about 73 now, maybe 74, but we are on a slight descent. Looks like we're just inching about 74. And that's right at about 6,000. Well, this is it. This is as much as she has with the stock configuration, at least for me. And my 155-pound weight, with nothing else on the bike but the panniers and a few small accessories.
Okay, so we're back from the first ride, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and swap out the components and walk you through it. It's a very simple process. All you need is a Phillips head screwdriver and a 4mm hex wrench, and that's it. So first thing we'll do is we'll take off the cover plate. Remember, this bottom left screw is a dummy screw. It's not an actual screw holding in the plate, so you just really need to take off 3. All right, this bottom one just pops out, so there you go. So now what you're looking at is the standard factory air snorkel, it's called, or just the intake cover. It's held in with 3 Phillips screws, so I'm just going to go ahead and take those 3 out. And that's all there is to it. You just simply pop this off and the air filter's connected right to it. I find it easier to pop it off of the air filter while it's still in place, and then this just pops right out. Set that on the ground. And then here is the factory air filter. It still looks pretty good. It's a little dirty inside. I did ride it a lot across the desert and got a lot of sand and dust and dirt in it, but for the most part it looks pretty good. So here are the new pieces. So what I'm doing is I'm upgrading 2 components. I'm upgrading the air filter itself, and I'm using this DNA air filter that I ordered from Tech Parts USA. And then this is the new intake cover. So instead of using the little funky snorkel, it's just a wide open cover, and that is all it is. And it's supposed to let in more air and let the bike breathe better. So we're gonna go ahead and upgrade these two pieces really quick. Just put the air filter in. It's already pre-lubed and everything, so all you have to do is basically just put it in. So that's the end of that. And so the intake cover is right here. And I've actually bought these parts separately, but they now sell them together. All it is a metal cover with a little bit of a foam piece behind it. All you do is fit it in place, just like so. You push it in so the air filter comes up through the opening, you line up the screw holes, and that's it. It's just wide open like that. So let's go ahead and screw the screws back in. I'm very curious to see with these two components together if there's going to be a noticeable improvement. Now, one thing I will say for those of you out there with thinking about getting this bike, they made a lot of changes with the new Euro 5 and the new North American model. Basically what they did was, because of the emission standards, there's a couple things that you can no longer do on this bike that you used to be able to do. You can't put any sort of booster plugs on the bike. In fact, the company that makes the booster plug doesn't sell a model for the Euro 5 and or North American 2021 and up models. So something to keep in mind is, a lot of people put these kind of upgrades in and they pair them with an exhaust and then with a booster plug. Well, if I put a booster plug on this bike, it's going to trip the check engine light. So that is one downside to all these emissions standards. They're a good thing, but it makes tinkering with your bike a little bit more limited. That is it. That's all there is to it. I'm going to put the cover back on. All right, let's get that guy going. Good. Get these other last two in. All set. Let's go take it for a ride and see if we notice an improvement in both the acceleration and the top speed.
All right, we're back at the no parking sign, this time with the new configuration. So we're gonna do the exact same test again, accelerate down onto the highway, and then bring it up to 6,000 RPM to get a sense of both acceleration and top speed. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. I'm at 6,000 RPM and I'm at 76, 75, 76, 77, 78, at about 60, yep, right at 6,000 RPM I'm going 77, 78. So a definite improvement. There you go. I mean, you can see right there I'm going 6,000 and 70, 76, 77. There's so many variables here that it's not a real true scientific test, but I'm not doing anything different. I'm accelerating the same. I'm on the same exact stretch of highway, and before I had the bike completely throttle open, and I actually have a little bit more throttle here, you can see. So the bike actually has a little bit more in it. I'm curious to see what the acceleration test will tell us. I bet you that'll be pretty close. Very cool. There we are. I mean, I'm going uphill now. I am wide open on the throttle now, and I'm hitting 6,000, but I'm still hitting 75, 76. So even uphill, there's a noticeable increase in performance.
Okay, so I'm back home and I just went through the footage, and it does look like I was able to get a slight performance increase out of the Himalayan with these two modifications. I was able to go from 0 to 60 about 2 seconds faster, and I increased my top speed from about 74 miles per hour up to 78 miles per hour, which for me is a pretty notable increase. So I know this wasn't a true scientific test, and there's a lot of other variables at play here. And there's also the fact that I live at 7,000 feet elevation, which I'm sure plays a part in the performance of my specific bike. But I still think that this was a useful experiment today, and I hope that it was helpful and useful to all of you out there. So that's all I have. So take care, be safe, and I'll see you all in the next video.